Hey guys, it's me, Kelly, and we're on part 2 of the heart cane. In our last video, we started our heart, and we did our black, silver, black, white so far. And you can do whatever colors you want. These are my extra pieces I cut off. So you see black comes off very easily, so I'll throw that in my black pile. Silver comes off easily, I'll put that in there. Sometimes they don't come off easily because my white is very soft. So take it and twist it and then roll it into a bead. You never can have too many beads. And then you have a bead and set it aside. And I do that with everything I can. My white came off on that one. Let's see if I can get my black apart here on my silver. I got a black apart. There wasn't much silver in that one. And I'll just pull off that silver there. Throw it in my pile. Throw my black in. I'm very frugal. I don't like to throw stuff away because you never know. I mean, and just to play around. Now this I won't be able to separate, so I'll set that with that bead. You never know. And like I said, to learn new things and play, you know, to have your like little piles of clay. That came off great. Why not? You know, to practice something. Even if you don't do them in the colors that I'm doing them in, you do whatever colors you have, you know, that you have straight. So now I saved all that extra, and I only had 1 or 2 little pieces that I had to throw off. So I make them into a bead, any shape you want, roll them. And like I said, you have a great bead that can go on a necklace that you make. You can make them oval like this or round or whatever shape you want. So that's awesome. Okay, so here we are. Here's this. Here's what we're going to do. I'm going to cut in little pieces. I'm going to cut these. We'll see how many more we need. And this is what they look like. I'm going to set this aside for a second. Oops. And I'm going to take that extra black clay that I just put over there. Use my hands first. I'm going to roll it into a ball. Put it on here. Roll it out. Maybe I'll put it in the pasta machine for this roll. I want it kind of thin. Oh, I hate when my pasta machine handle comes out. But I want to make sure I can roll it. Will I be able to roll that all on that? Yeah. So now what I'm going to do is just kind of cut this little piece off right here. And this little piece off right there. Not worrying too much, but you can see the black sticking, like I said. And just save this little black bit. And I'm going to start just setting these on here. And make sure when you put them on, that one's too thin. That you do the opposite colors, if that makes sense. You see that I'm not putting white near each other. I'm doing opposite. And I'm just setting them. You can, you know, try to make them closest together, but we're going to roll them to get them to really stick. But I'm just going to put these all along. And just give them a little push down. Close to the next one. Now I would freeze these before you cut them, or you know, that one, like I said, they're sticky because it's so warm. But you could freeze them before you cut them and freeze them after you cut them, so they're just a little bit easier to work with. Like I said, I'm not going to run out there and freeze these right now. So some are sticking, some are, you know, not doing what I want them to do. But I'm just keeping on trucking. And what's nice with clay too is that you can like pull it a little bit to stretch it out if it's not as long as you want it. Like see? And it just thins it out a little bit. It's not a big deal. And if you guys try this, put this in the Flickr group. Put it in, tag me on Facebook. If you have any questions, as always, just ask. Like I said, it is really fun to sit and do. Not so much when you're, you know, doing on camera and you're trying to do fast so people aren't stuck sitting for hours. That's why I'm doing a part 2, because normally these are hour-long videos, and I know a lot of people write me and they want to do along as I'm doing it and stuff like that. So I thought this one I would do a 2-part video around 30 minutes a piece. So you can sit and not have to sit for an hour. And this comes from a book. I have so many clay books. But this one comes from a book. What is that book called? I'll have to look over there. It's a Polymer clay book I got years ago. And I was looking for something to do. It's a caning book. And I saw this and I thought, since Valentine's Day is coming up, why not? Okay, that one's messed up. So now I'm going to have to cut a couple more. No big deal. And then when I also roll it out, it will go a little bit longer too. Try not to overpower the white that's prior to you. I know my big hands are in the way. And it's striped, which does not help on the camera. We're almost done. I promise with this part. And you don't even have to do this part. You could just kind of cover this in black, you know, like a black flat sheet, and then go from there. You don't have to do this part. This is something that they did in the book. You can make these any colors. You can make this bright and pink and purple and white, or whatever colors you want. I wanted to do a metallic in it, and silver was the first thing I saw, so in my clay, so that's what I picked. Okay, so here we go. And what I'm going to do is just take my what is this called? My roller, my clay roller, out of it. And I don't know if you can see, but it is flattening them and making them one. Now I'm going to try to lift it up because you know black is not being very friendly to me today. And I just screwed that up. So So I'm going to take my knife and bend it and try to get this lifted up. Black's being a real pain. And it's sticking to everything. I'm scraping my knife on my tile so it doesn't. Let's see. Will you lift up now? How about now? And you can see it's sticking a little bit. I must have bought a bad batch of clay because I just bought these. Let me hold this up. I know, don't get dizzy, but you see how it looks? Okay. I'm going to lay it back on my thing here and kind of run it around, and I'm going to spray the top so it doesn't stick. And I'm going to roll it just so they all stick together and combined as one, and I'm going to turn it this way. And you see how it rolls. I'm going to move that. It rolls out almost cool like a zebra pattern. So imagine, you know, what you can do with this. If I have extra left over, I will make some zebra beads or something. I don't even know. But look how cool. Look how awesome that looks. Okay. So now I'm going to take this and I'm going to kind of cut this end off a bit. Well, I'm not going to worry about that because I'm going to start with this side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start and I'm going to lay this. I'll start down here. I'll lay this on here. Now you see how much extra I have left over. If I lay this down and put this on here on the one side of the part of the heart and then kind of lean it towards the cutting board, I can kind of slice it and slice down. That last bit off. And then I have this extra left over because I'm not going to be able to use it on there. So I'm just going to put that on there and push it. And if you have a little, you know, if it starts having a little tear or whatever, remember you just pick it up and put it back on there. And then I'm going to roll it, so to speak, around my heart, around the other side, till I get to that other bottom part. Now, ultimately, it would be nice if we could match up what's next with this black, but at the end of the day, I really don't, you know, I don't care. If you're a perfectionist and like to do that, then by all means, take the time to do that. And then we have this extra bit too. You know, do that. But I'm just going to see where we left off here. I see a few holes I'm going to fix. And I'm just going to fold that over. I'm not going to worry about it too much because, like I said, you can, and you can take that extra minute. I just, right now for this, I'm not. And you want to make sure that you press this on everywhere. And you see I have extra hanging over. It's no big deal. And I'm going to back up a bit. But I'm just going to kind of go and do that. Now, you can use scissors or knife. I'm just going to take my hand and kind of just tear away this extra bit of clay that's going around here on the back end, because the back I'm going to cut anyway. But I'll just roll this in a ball over there, and I'm going to pat it down because that'll be cut off anyway. Let me just hope when I cut this that all this hard work was for something. Okay, and this bit, I'm just going to give a little pinch off because I'm going to cut a lot of that off. So, all right, so I'm flattening that. I'm flattening this side. I'm working on my edge here, and I'm just going to squeeze it. So there's no air bubbles. And squeeze and squeeze. Air bubbles are our enemy. I'm going to flatten it down. Flatten that side down a bit. Try to give our heart some more. Now this might come out completely, bleh. You never know. Never know. All right. But it's, you know, what it is. So I'm going to cut off. Now you would put it in the freezer at this moment. Made a cool design because of that red that was in there. But I want to make this squished a little bit more. So now's when you can kind of play a little bit more. Since you know what it's going to look like inside. I want these to be a little bit more like that. This in a little bit more. And I push from the middle to the outside. I'm just going to make it a little bit smaller. I'm going to roll it. On that top part. Manipulate this side. This side. I kind of dig it with that red coming out. I'm kind of trying to figure out how I want these hearts because the one side's a little too big for my taste. So I want it kind of in a little bit more. So let me just cut it. Let's just take a bite of the bullet and cut it here. Let's see what we got. Well, as you can see, the black got spread a little bit too much because it was too obvious, way too obviously soft. But I can work with these kind of things. Now, before I start, can you see how the black right here where we put in, because it was so soft, it just didn't work for me. And I'm really upset because I wanted that to be a heart. I wanted that middle to be more of a point and a heart. So let me squeeze and see what we get. That's the fun of playing with clay. Let me squeeze this. See, I can see air bubbles too. I'm going to have to next time start pausing and going into and putting into the freezer because I'm not digging because everything gets mushy. And like smush, see how it's smushed down? But I'm wondering, I want to keep that like that. I want to keep that like that. The red's coming out on the side, which I like. All right, so let's just play for a few minutes. I know I'm kind of far away. I'm going to move my camera down rather than zoom in because when I zoom in, for some reason, it gets fuzzy. I don't know why. Okay, so let's just play for a few minutes, shall we? This is what I cut first. Why is my camera like that? Okay, it's kind of crooked. I don't know what the heck was going on. So let's roll this out. Let's see what we get. I can't believe how soft it is. It's because the heat's on here. And this is like the warmest room, which for me is good because of the being down in the cold room really stunk. But it doesn't help when you play with clay. So, kind of a fail. But let's see. Well, one thing that's not as a fail is that I got these. And I'm really digging on these. So I'm going to use those for something and this for something. And let's see what we can do with what we got. Now, I rolled that out and look, I got a really cool, I like it. I'm going to cook it. I'm going to bake it. Look at the heart that came from it. That's really, really cool. So I'll bake that. How can you not like that? And it has some, this is so weird. I love this though. It has some red right here. See it down here where my thumb is? So it kind of looks like bloody. You know I love the blood. This is what it looks on the back, like shit. But when you roll it over, So if I sit for a moment, because it's not all the same width, and I want it to be, I'm just going to take my finger where it's a little bit thicker and mold the clay so it kind of goes in there a little bit more. And mold the clay down this way a little bit more. It kind of distorts it a little bit, but it's okay. This is very thick here on the bottom. I'm going to move it up some. And then what I'm going to do is just really quickly run my thing over it. And I am liking this. And I love that there's no edge on it. Oh, okay. Come up for me, love. Oh, happy with this. Very happy with this. That's because that's my kind of thing. I'll hang this, I'll do a painting with this in it as the thing. Put a, you know, or put a hole in it or use it as something in a painting. I really dig this. The way that come out, and I love the little blood on the bottom. Okay? I love the way it looks like it's blooding in. I'm loving it. I'm putting it over here. So that's a good thing. This didn't have anything on the other side. But what you can do is fun things to do when you do have extra pieces or things don't turn out is turn them into good things. So take this and twist it, twist it, twist it. See, I'm not perfect. I didn't really do this that well. I showed you how to get to where this point is, but sometimes things don't work out. And then I twist it and then I'll roll it. And you get a bead. Different kind of bead, or you can, God, my stuff's really soft, roll it out, and get a really cool thing that you can take your extra clay or pieces of clay or old beads, you know, like wooden beads or glass beads that you don't like. Well, that's a pretty cool bead. And you can then cover. And I like the, you know, I like the black and white. I'll make this one smaller. But I like, you know, I love blood and all that kind of stuff. So I'm kind of digging on that. So I'm just going to kind of roll that up. And roll it. And I can even add glitter and stuff in here. And then I have like a really cool bead. Now, I myself would cut this in half. And look, can you see all the cool swirls in there? Because we did all the colors and twisted them, so you get cool things. And then when you do your bead, you get that on the outside. If we focus. And we're focusing. Almost looks like an evil clown. Oh. Anyway. So now I have two beads, and I can bake them and put them in and then glaze them, and then I have beads to go with whatever I do. So that's something. Let's see what happens when we flatten this. I think I'm going to flatten it this way, though. Oh, my. I really like that. I don't know. I'm like all into dark, like weird shit today. I don't know why. It's just a pattern, but I like it. I can lay that over a flat piece, like take this piece that I'm not using, flatten it, even though it's a nice black and white and silver piece. But, you know, when you have your extra clay, and I can lay this over here to, like, reinforce it. And then you have, like, a reinforcement for your piece, and then cut around it, and then your piece is thicker because that was a thin piece. You know, I'd cut, like, all this off. But look at, like, it looks like it has, like, blood spatter on it and stuff. I just love it. I don't know. I'm weird. So, let's cut the back off and see what we get. Since we're... Oh, goodness, it doesn't even represent a heart. But I can make these into things. I'm not worried. Oh, what the hell happened in the back? The back was like, I ain't working for you. Let's try to do this. That's what happens when I don't practice beforehand. And I'm like, oh, I can do that. Kind of looks like something in the heart. Not bad. I'll make jewelry. People will buy these because they're like weird looking. So I'm not hating. I'm appreciating. Not exactly what I started out to do. But they make great little clay pieces. And when I am, as I am right now, in a terrible RA flare, and haven't had medicine for weeks because of my insurance and doctors, and I did this, I'm not really going to complain. I feel very proud of myself, I must say. Look at the heart. Not bad. Is she going to sit and bore us and cut them all? Yeah, I am. Because each one's kind of like a little different. Now I see this and I'm getting the same, which is good, which is in the middle. But let me just see if I can push more of this together and see what happens. Makes it skinnier though. Push you in. Because I know my daughter, if I make her a necklace with one of those hearts, she'll love them. I love it. Flat, low flat. Squish it up. Let's make them a little fatter. Got to represent the fatness. Yeah, that black took over. What you gonna do? Let's slice and slice and slice. I'm just slicing them thick. And then this one I didn't like. So we have the skinny ones that really don't represent much of anything. But, you know, such is life. These will go for middle beads or something. I'll find something to do with them. I find something to do with everything. I'm so cheap. And keep everything, and I'm like, oh, this is that end piece with the devil in it. I really dig. And it's a nice thick piece, so that'll be saved. I have a couple with the devil in it. I thought I did. Yeah, that one over there. I don't mean really the devil. Please don't write me. I'm just being myself. Which is all who I could be. That. Got that side or that side. So you see what you get if you do freeze in between and do like you're supposed to. I did a little, I didn't do that. And then I had that little black and the, the white in the beginning, but I made the best of it. And then there's this piece, which I'm going to flatten out a minute. And this piece, which I'm going to flatten out. But I shall spray them first because they are so sticky. My hands are sticky. Whoops, sprayed my heat gun. I hope that works later. And I didn't get electrocuted. And they just make weird shapes. I mean, I can add them as bodies or whatever. Like I said, at the end of the day, when I go through these to bake, I will either save them for, to put in the middle when I make a doll or something, as scrap clay, or I will bake them and use them in mixed media or in my art journaling. Ooh, that looks cool. I love when the red, like, bleeds. Like blood. I like that. They're like these cryptic things. Like, look at that. What's that saying to me? Yeah. They look like blood. I love it. It looks like blood dripping. All right. I am a little odd. I know. I know. So, what does this teach you? It teaches you to put things in the freezer after every step so they stay cold. But if you follow my directions, you will get, well, this is a piece of crap. You will get the heart, as you can see, in that these are hearts. They're just not exactly pretty cute hearts because they did not come out like I wanted them to. Because I had a few ups, But, like I said, I did get cool zebra stripes kind of thing. That I have left over that I can use for things. I got some really cool hearts here that I will use and bake and, that kind of thing. I can drop glitter on here. I could put more, pieces of clay on here. Like if I want some, let's say I want some blood here. What will happen? Nope, my thing's sticky and I didn't spray it. That's how I'm telling you. And that, this is an important lesson for many reasons. That's why I think if you're starting out, try Sculpey, but definitely use Fimo or Primo. Because what happens is, because this is student grade and it's so sticky, the other ones are very hard and harder to condition, but they're just much better to work with. I don't want to have to, like I did this out thin, and I don't want it to have to be so sticky and not, it's student grade. And it's great to learn with. It really is. But if you're really serious and want to do this, then, buy that. But like I said, if you want to try things out, buy the Sculpey. If you want to try this out, and between every, that's pretty cool. Between every, that's really, really cool. It almost looks like a heart itself, which was not what I was going for. Interesting. I'm going to play with that. You see, like I said, this is kind of what I was going for. Missed it a little bit, but you see the point. But if you get Sculpey because you're trying out and it's less expensive, each step that I did, throw it in the freezer for 5 minutes so it firms it up. Unless you're in a very cold room. I am not in a very cold room, and you can see things stick. And that's all I got. I hope that this was some help to some people. It's very easy, like I said, to make the heart itself and how to do it. It's just, like I said, my room is so warm because it's so cold out. And, I've learned over the years of doing clay since I was a lot younger, that what did I learn? I had a thought in my head and that disappeared. I'm pulling these apart so I can save the colors. I don't know what I learned. What did I learn all those years back? I don't know. I just know that with my hands now, clay and me are not friendly. But I don't let it get to me. I just do it. And I think you guys should too. Like I said, just make the best of what that's not what I was going to say, but make the best of what happens. Like I'm trying to pull these pieces apart and like this white just really bites today. It is so soft and icky. Damn you, you snow and heat. But you know, do your best you can. Like I said, you see I had a fail. Do you think I'm not going to show this? Oh, the silver got. I'm not going to show this because I had a fail? No, I'm going to show you because the method that I did is a good method. And that I'm also showing you that, you know what? Not everything comes out perfect. So if that's what you expect when you do any type of art, whether it be clay or drawing or painting or jewelry or beading or rainbow loom, and you miss that one goddamn rubber band that ruins the whole 3 hours that you sat there. You know, it just doesn't, okay, this is not going to work well. It just doesn't always work that way. So you make the best of it. Look, I got a lady with a devil tail dancing. Okay, clear up. Clear up. Let's focus. See? Look. Hanging on pole dancing. Hello, hello. I mean, you know what I mean? So I got some really cool pieces that are unique. Not what I was going for, but am I going to cry? No, because I had a blast doing it. And that's what's most important. So remember that as my dogs start hysterical barking. I hope you enjoyed this. If you like these clay videos, please click my name, go to my front page, and you will see. Go to my front page and you will see subscribe, or there should be even subscribe underneath. And if you go to my front page, clicking my name, it has a whole section of clay for beginners. They're much better than this one, trust me. This one was a fail. This was my first fail, I think. And it wasn't like 100% fail, but you know. Well, I wanted to show you like the perfect, you know, cane, but it didn't work out that way. But I showed you some other cool things. And when it doesn't come out your way, what to do and how to play. And that's what we're doing here, is having fun playing. So, as always, be kind to each other. You never know what battle somebody else is fighting. Give me a thumbs up if you like my videos. And I hope you sub. I'm having a giveaway coming up soon. A big giveaway for my 2,000 subs, which I'm well over now. But I'm a little late in the game. Things have been a little crazy. It's like I'm playing with gum. That's how soft this is. And as always, keep writing me. You guys write me constantly. I get about 50 emails, I don't even know, about do more clay, do more clay. Well, this was my clay for the day. Yeah, be glad I put it in 2 parts. But I hope you learn how to do a clay heart from me. And if you do any type, if you do this and whatever way it comes out, I hope you tag me or upload it to Flickr or message it to me or whatever. Because I love seeing it. And I think it's important that, you know, whether you can or cannot use your hands, which is why I suggest Sculpey for people with RA and fibro and all like me who are really bad. You know, the fun part is just playing and having fun. Like I said, you want to take professional classes and paid classes and all that kind of thing, please, by all means do. I do this for fun, and I do it to show people that, you know what, I may be severely disabled, but I still like doing art, and I still like doing clay. So I hope you all have a great day. Be kind, and I will talk to you later. Bye, guys.